If we're being honest with ourselves, the early 2000s were the prime time for sloppy, poorly constructed, and mostly bad superhero movies. Even though we did get some good ones during this time period, most of them are either forgotten completely or memed to death instead. Now, I've been pretty careful to avoid most of these because, yeah, they look pretty bad. But with Daredevil Born Again both being amazing and a letdown, it's had me thinking a lot about Daredevil lately. So I followed my curiosity and it led me here to the 2003 Ben Affleck Daredevil movie. A movie, mind you, I have never wanted to watch before because I had heard nothing but bad things about it, and every video I've ever watched about this movie has said it's just a goofy, dumb little superhero outing in the early 2000s. Which means now it's perfect for me to watch. So let's get into it. The movie opens with Daredevil just after he got beat up. That's right, folks. This movie starts at the end and then takes you back to the beginning. We are treated to an overly long flashback with older Matt narrating for us as little Matt gets his powers and saves Stan Lee's life. Then, Matt's dad gets killed for not taking a fall during a fight, and this turns Matt Murdock into the devil of Hell's Kitchen. A guy who sleeps in a water coffin and uses extremely loud music to block out the busy noises of New York City. But wouldn't the loud music be harder to listen to over the noises of the city?
Loud noises!
I only bring this up because in every single fight Daredevil's in this movie, his one weakness is loud noises. Loud like this music he has blaring in his apartment. So I just don't think this scene works the way that the writers wanted it to. After that, we jump to Lawyer Matt in the middle of a rape case that he then loses. Cool movie. Really having fun so far with the dead dad and the rapist back on the street line.
Another rapist back on the streets.
Yeah? Here's what I don't get.
Whatever, because then CGI Ben Affleck jumps 50 stories off a building and just lands like he didn't blow both of his knees into outer space. I'm starting to think the writers of this movie don't know Daredevil super well because he's a human, and they kind of just treat him like Spider-Man in this movie. Now, since Lawyer Matt lost the case, Daredevil Matt gets to go work on his audition for Batman and beat up the rapist.
What do you want?
Justice.
For Gotham!
We get a big flashy fight before the guy escapes, and Daredevil ultimately, gets him cut in half by a train? Hold on a second. I thought part of Daredevil's whole thing was that he tries really, really hard not to kill. Also, the dude is Catholic, so I'm not sure this adds up. We don't have time to dwell on that when Matt has to smell... Wait, what? He smells Elektra before she enters the building?
What? Where?
Front door. Not yet, soon.
You know that's weird, right? Daredevil 2003?
I'm weird. I'm a weirdo.
And this all leads to the most bizarre and abnormal thing I've ever seen in a superhero movie. Elektra and Matt have a very odd playground fight where you're either rooting for the blind guy to beat up the woman or rooting for the woman to beat up the blind guy. And like, who greenlit this idea? I'm not complaining because honestly, this is the funniest shit in the movie, and this is the kind of stuff that I love to see when I talk about movies on this channel. A playground fight staged and choreographed like this is fucking hilarious, dude. Now, our villain plot for this movie is that Kingpin, aka Wilson Fisk, is going to frame Elektra's dad to take the fall for all his crimes because Elektra's dad wants out of the shady criminal business, and Kingpin is going to use his hitman Bullseye to do so. Also, Daredevil beats up this one thug in front of a kid, and then he just repeats 3 times that he's not the bad guy to himself.
I'm not the bad guy, kid. I'm not the bad guy. I'm not.
This movie has a big problem with telling and not showing. We know you're not the bad guy, except for the guy you pushed on the train tracks. That might make you a bad guy. And I also need to say this here. The relationship between Matt and Elektra is really bad. They have zero chemistry, which is kind of ironic when you think about it, but she also has no personality in this, making their whole love story really lame. So Matt and Foggy, oh yeah, Foggy is in this, and he's played by Jon Favreau, which is a really interesting choice. And honestly, he's not that bad, but he's just not in the movie nearly enough for me to mention him at all. So they go to this gala where they run into Wilson Fisk, and Matt pokes the bear by implying that Fisk isn't an innocent person. And at the gala, Matt does this when he sees Elektra.
Oh my God!
All of our plot points start to come together when Bullseye attacks Elektra and her father when they try to flee the gala, which leads to this moment that I don't understand at all. Bullseye grabs one of Daredevil's poles, throws it, a motorcycle explodes, causing Daredevil to miss his attempt to catch the pole, and then the pole kills Elektra's dad. But the thing is, the bike explodes, you can see the fire reflected in this moment with Daredevil, but when we cut back to the father, there is no explosion and no bike. I think it's really funny that they wrote the motorcycle explosion as a way to make it where Daredevil misses the catch because it fucks up his vision. But in the end, they forgot to put the scene back together to make all of it work together, making it very funny and hilariously edited. So now everyone thinks Daredevil killed Elektra's dad, which makes Matt sad, and he makes a big mess in his hideout. Then Elektra tells Matt to piss off at the funeral, and we get some fucking Evanescence while Elektra and Daredevil montage train at the same time. Daredevil and Elektra fight until she stabs him, takes his mask off, finally believes that he didn't kill her dad, and then she just runs off to fight Bullseye alone and instantly die. Which brings us back to the opening of the movie where Daredevil is in the church and Bullseye shows up to kick off their fight. Immediately, Daredevil takes an offering plate to the fucking throat, and I gotta say, that's kind of awesome, and I did not expect that at all.
Let's play.
Jesus Christ.
Bullseye also breaks a window at one point, catches the glass, and then uses the pieces as ninja stars. I love how Bullseye is always having fun no matter what he's doing. He's just a silly little guy that Daredevil then throws out of a fucking window. Yep, just straight up kills him. So, yeah, guess he might as well go kill Kingpin now. Jesus, dude, how hard did you kick him? In the end, Matt decides not to kill the Kingpin for some fucking reason, and the movie wraps up with Matt talking about faith and yada yada yada, the end. But wait, Bullseye kills a fly with a syringe in the post-credits scene, so I guess he's not actually dead. When it comes to Daredevil 2003, I'm not that shocked at how cheesy, cringy, and out of touch this movie is, given the era it was made. And I find it interesting that this isn't even technically the first live-action on-screen adaptation of Daredevil. He made his first appearance on the Incredible Hulk show in his iconic black outfit. And does that matter? Not really, but I just wanted to show you that I know things. I also think it's interesting that during the opening credits, the names start in Braille and then fade into letters. And though this idea is interesting, it does make me wonder if they thought that blind people would appreciate it too. I mean, this is the movie that has Matt Murdock do this little suit-up montage in his apartment while he's completely alone. Like, who the fuck is this for if not himself? I mean, he can't even watch himself do this in the mirror, so why is he doing it at all? But also, Ben Affleck just isn't that great at selling the dark, depressed Matt Murdock that we're supposed to be watching, and a lot of his line delivery feels weird. Nobody really feels like they want to be in this movie, and they all kind of have the vibe of just wanting to go home and have a nice shower. The only person who actually feels like they want to be here and is having a good time is Bullseye. When we meet Bullseye, he's in an Irish bar, Top of the Morning to Ya is playing, and he doesn't say a single word. All he does is pull out a paperclip and throw it into a guy's neck who made fun of the fact he's Irish. Don't think too hard about the fact that this guy insulted him for being Irish in an Irish bar, because that doesn't make any sense at all. But the best part about all of this is how no one, not a single person, reacts or does anything after this man is killed in front of them. Then, the next time we see him, he flicks a peanut into an old lady's mouth in order to make her choke to death, all because she wouldn't stop talking to him. Bullseye also likes to stand on his motorcycle with his arms wide open, and he says his name after killing people.
Bullseye.
This guy is a giant dork. He's the guy who thinks he's the coolest dude in the room, but the moment he leaves, people are like, did you see that guy? What the fuck was wrong with him? I mean, when your jacket hisses like a snake every time you put it on, it just all makes sense, you know? Now, we need to talk about the issue of Daredevil killing people in this movie. Not the issue of him actually doing it, which is something I believe he normally wouldn't do, but more how it plays a part in the plot. Young Matt promises his dad that he won't fight and he'll grow up to be a lawyer or a doctor or something. But then his dad is killed, so he breaks that promise and becomes Daredevil. And the first thing we see him do as Daredevil is throw a guy onto train tracks and watch him get split in two. Then the moron signs a giant DD in lighter fluid as a calling card to the cops, which is just admitting that you killed this guy. It's kind of hard to feel bad for Matt as he struggles with people thinking he's a murderer. Plus, he tries to kill Bullseye, but then Daredevil doesn't kill Kingpin, who admitted to killing his dad? Like, make up your mind, movie. Is Daredevil a killer or not? Because you're trying to have it both ways, and it doesn't work. Because to me, the way I would break down Daredevil, if you kill his girlfriend, you're getting thrown out of a church. If you kill his dad, he's just gonna break your knees. I will say there is a pretty cool moment where Daredevil's shadow stands over this thug. It's one of the very rare moments where this movie actually did something kinda clever. It's also unfortunate how the early 2000s were overly ambitious with the special effects, because the weird looking rubber Daredevil model just doesn't do it for me. It's like the weird playground fight. It's such a dumb and stupid thing to include, but what makes it even worse is how it looks like no one is putting any effort in. It looks like Ben Affleck and Jennifer Garner are just waiting for their moments to either throw their punch, duck, or move to their next mark. And there is a moment in the comics that's kind of similar where Daredevil fights Echo on a playground, but it's not like this at all, and this is just dumb, silly, and fun, but not in the way that the movie wants it to be. And also, Matt Murdock is kind of a creep in this. The way he has his meet cute with Elektra is not as cute as the movie thinks it is. It starts with him stopping mid-thought to smell her before she even enters the cafe. He then hits on her, and she strongly implies she's not interested. So you know what he does? He follows her to the playground, grabs her arm to stop her from leaving, and then he's surprised when she takes a swing at him? That's not cute. That's creepy. And your silly little dumb playground fight, as much as I enjoy it, is not going to distract me from the fact that that's not cute. Which is another thing that Matt Murdock does in this movie. He's blind, and clearly we know as the audience he has these super enhanced abilities to see things in a different way. But the average Joe Schmo doesn't know that. So if I was Elektra and this guy followed me and was fighting me on a playground and reaching for my arm and stuff, there's no fucking way I would believe he's blind. I would honestly think he's a pickup artist pretending to be blind, and then I would beat him up some more. And if you've watched any of the Daredevil shows, then you might be asking yourself, where's Karen Page in this movie? Well, she's right here. Wait, hold on. Here. No, wait, here. She's in the scene somewhere. I know that. Foggy and Karen have more play in the extended edition, which I almost watched. But when I watched Suicide Squad 2016, I watched the extended edition, and I think that sworn me off of any superhero movie having an extended edition for a while. I don't think it fully works, but during the fight scenes, the sound is distorted in a way that's supposed to represent what Daredevil hears. Not every creative choice is a good one, but at least they tried something. Kind of like the sonar vision they give him. I don't think it does a very good job at representing the true extent of his powers, but the vision mode is a little cool for us to watch. Overall, Daredevil 2003 felt like a trip down memory lane with how much it screams the early 2000s. I mean, the soundtrack alone makes you feel like you're transported back to the early 2000s, that it's kind of insane. It's pretty easy to hate this movie, but I also think there's a little charm to be had with this one. Though I found it to be stupid and inconsistent, it was in the ways that make watching something like this more silly than it is bad. Maybe it's the total misrepresentation of Daredevil with the fact that he's killing, jumping 100 stories off buildings, they treat him like Spider-Man, he has really bad one-liners, and ultimately, this is just Ben Affleck's audition for Batman, but all of those reasons and more are kind of why I liked it. Which is why I'm going to put this superhero movie relic in So Bad, It's Good. Hey everyone, if you enjoyed this, don't forget to check out my video on Creature from the Black Lagoon, a masterpiece that I absolutely love. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment down below what movie you'd like to see me cover in the future.